This world is crazy, so you might as well look good while you're going out there, okay? Just saying.
I have the man behind the glam, my makeup artist, Eli Medina.
Lindsay and Eli, take one. People have been done dirtied by someone at a Clinique counter or their cousin at a wedding. I really just want to make people feel good through the art of makeup. I just started my junior year of high school and I packed up my shit. My mom caught me and I said, I'm leaving. And she said, fine, give me your keys. You're not welcome back. That part of me wasn't really nurtured and I had to do it myself.
Choosing yourself and choosing your own potential, even if the environment wasn't really pulling for it. You had to learn how to nurture your true authenticity.
I was able to kind of find my own coven, tribe, family, whatever you want to call it, that helped me kind of open my eyes to something that was possible.
Okay, today's episode is a real treat. I have the man behind the glam, my makeup artist, Eli Medina, also lovingly known as my glam fairy godfather. And we're talking all things authenticity, how to be confident in who you are, and what he's learned from his journey growing up in an environment that didn't necessarily see him for the magical human being that he is. Everything from being homeless, joining the circus, yes, you heard that right, to cultivating a career doing what he loves. I know you're going to get so much inspiration out of this conversation. Eli Medina, welcome to Powerhouse Women.
You know what, Lindsay, thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
You've actually been a huge part of so many big moments in Powerhouse Women in my life. And this is your very first podcast, you just told me.
Yeah, this is my very first podcast. I also feel like it would be kind of weird if you weren't my first podcast.
The first, yeah,
so
exactly.
I think it's like the universe just perfectly aligning.
Yep.
And, I've always felt like a little fly on the wall, and I just have loved seeing how you've grown this brand of yours. It's amazing. I remember the very first one that I was a part of. What was it? Was that Clayton House?
2019.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've grown this huge audience and have been able to just be a little proud little gay fairy godfather, just oh my God, look at my baby. Look at her.
Look at her go.
So pretty. I need to put more highlighter on that look.
You're
That's fine.
We could have used more blush.
Yeah, we could have definitely put more body oil on, but it's fine.
That's actually a huge secret that some people might know. We've shared little peeks on social media that I always get asked about the legs. There is actually a body glitter, a body oil. I don't know. You just paint something on them.
Well, actually, I have your legs in the back, and we just take them off and pop new ones in before you hit the stage.
Exactly. Yeah, it's an add-on.
It's like the Barbie dolls, with or Polly Pocket, where you could just pop on the accessories.
Exactly. Wouldn't that be so nice?
Oh my God, I would love that.
Let
me just pop my little clip-on wig, my little clip-on hands, my clip-on face.
Okay, so before we get too into the weeds, because we can do that. We tend to.
Yeah.
We tend to go all over the place, which is what I love about our conversations, and so many conversations that we've had in your chair. I realize that when I think of you, I think of someone who it just exudes this confidence. And it's a confidence that comes from what I perceive as just being really comfortable in exactly who you are. And I know it hasn't always been that way for you. Does that come easily, or how did you cultivate that? Because that's something I think a lot of us are looking to embody.
Yeah, it's not easy, and sometimes I'm actually really faking it. I think this is gonna sound so conceited, but I'm a very good actor. I acted straight for the first 16 years of my life.
The performance of your life.
We'll say that acting job was subpar. Maybe some people were shocked, but not everybody. But, it's definitely, sometimes it's a forced confidence. And I've worked really hard to be the person that I am today, and have fought a lot of things and gone through a lot of things to be the person that I am today. And I'm very proud of the person that I am today. And, I don't ever want to be in a room where I'm not wanted or I'm looked at like I'm othered, because I am an other. That's fine with me, but I mean, look at it. Look at it. Take it in, baby. Look
You
at
should
this
really,
material.
if you're listening to the audio version, you should really watch this on YouTube so you can see the full experience. The curls
get
today.
Get a snack. Get a little cozy.
Get a snack and get a snack.
And get a snack.
Okay.
But yeah, to answer your question, I think it is. Some days it's harder than others, and I just have to tell myself, it's a new day. Things are better than they were before, and that's what you can be thankful for, really.
Is there a mantra or something that you say to yourself to pick yourself up, to pump yourself up on the days that you're not feeling it, that you could leave us for those days that we just need a little extra sparkle?
I'm really bad at having positive mantras to myself. So I think that's something that maybe in this year I should work on, because we've talked about this before. I'm my own worst critic. Trust and believe. You can't say anything to me that's going to hurt my feelings that I haven't already said like 2 centimeters from the mirror. You know what I mean? To myself.
Isn't that true?
So I think sometimes the thing that I tell myself is, it's not always going to be like this. And remember how it used to be. Because I used to be homeless. I used to have literally just eat peanut butter off of a spoon, and that would be my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, So now I have a home. Yes, it's rented. Who cares? But I have a roof, I am in a successful career, I would say. I'm not exactly where I would like to be, but, I've cultivated a life for myself that I'm very proud of, And so I think it's just, again, it's one of those things where you just have to remember like the old you and how proud of the current you they would be.
That's so good. That was actually one of my favorite things. When we book our guests, we have them fill out just a couple of questions. It's a fun way for me to get to know things about people I've known for years. And one of the things that I loved that you shared is how proud you are, how young Eli would be so proud of where you are now, because a lot of people told you you wouldn't be successful. Will you take us back to those early years of growing up in an environment that didn't necessarily see all of the magic that you had to offer?
Yeah, so I grew up in Oklahoma, really small town. I grew up in Norman, but Norman is kind of like Tempe, where it has that college kind of vibe to it. So it's still a little modern, but it's also still Oklahoma, So my mom's white, I'm Mexican. So I got asked a lot of times, if I was adopted. First, that was one of the first things I can remember where like I was like othered, right? Because a lot of people thought that my mom was like the babysitter, or I was adopted, or she was just my aunt or something. But that's my mom. My mom is white. I'm Mexican. My dad is Mexican, so I'm mixed. And then I was raised in a single parent household. My mom raised me, and she's a woman. So I was raised around women. So I'm kind of femme, I have gay voice, I have a higher pitched voice. I, am in touch with my feelings, so growing up, I think my mom, I love my mom, but we had a really hard upbringing. I think she was still trying to figure out her own insecurities and her own things, because she is bipolar. She's got it together now, but I think younger her, my mom had me when she was like 19, 20, so I think she was still growing up, and, we've had conversations and we've healed and grown from it. And I have to always remember, that was my mom's first time being a mom, and yes, some of the things she did and said hurt me and still affect me today. But I also have to understand that like she really didn't know what she was doing and she was trying her best, So I did grow up not being able to, I feel like, express myself fully. And I felt like I had to almost be a protector a little bit. And I almost had to kind of fade into the background. And I think that's how my depression, my anxiety, all those things started to creep up, especially when you hit those like pivotal teenage years, right? When hormones are just popping off, right? And I don't think I was ever nurtured, or that part of me wasn't really nurtured, and I had to do it myself. And sometimes that's really hard, especially when you don't have resources and you grow up in an environment where you're told one thing, but that's not it. I was always told it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, Eli. And have you tried being straight? Have you tried being straight? Well, I don't know, Mom. Have you tried eating, roast beef for dinner? It was hard. And I was homeless. my mom and I had a really big falling out, and there was a lot of hard words and hurtful words. And I grew up in a household too. When my mom started dating my brother's dad, things got a little um, physical. And I just got to the point where like it was either if I stay in this place, I'm gonna kill myself. And I can't do that. I had already tried to kill myself when I was in high school. And that was kind of scoffed at a little bit. I was told, Eli, if you really wanted to kill yourself, you know where the drugs are, which was kind of shocking to me. And so we had a really big fight. It was 2 against 1, my mom and my stepdad against me. I was threatened with physical violence, and I just decided to pack my bags. I was I was a junior in high school. I just turned 18, and I just started my junior year of high school, and I packed up my shit. And my mom caught me and said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I'm leaving." And she said, "Fine, give me your keys and your phone, and you're not welcome back." And that lasted for 5 years, and we didn't talk. She says it was 1 year. I know how many Christmases I missed.
Yeah.
I know how many birthdays she missed. And we ended up coming together. We had a whole bottle of wine together, a whole pack of cigarettes, screamed, yelled, cussed each other out, and laughed. And now I feel like where we should have been when I was younger. You know, we can talk about a lot more. We're a lot more honest with our feelings. I don't mince my words with her anymore. When I was younger, I think I was scared to have tough conversations with my mom or have debates with my mom.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think it reflected in my early relationships too. I think I was such a pleaser, so to speak, in my early relationships, that I didn't see like certain signs, you know, or red flags. So I think being able to have that time apart helped us both grow in different ways, you know, and helped me also to now become, like I said, the person that I am, you know?
And I just really want to take a moment to acknowledge that. I think the part that you said, which was so powerful, is you had to learn how to nurture your true authenticity and the grace and the compassion that you found for your upbringing, for where people were at, they were doing their best. I think is just such a testament to your growth and something that has shaped you into the person that we all love, and the compassion that you have, the ability to sit in your chair and no matter what someone's going through, never feel judged or felt other than, because you've been through so much of that yourself. So I want to go back to, you know, that moment, that transition where you were branching out on your own, and I almost hear this resilience of choosing yourself and choosing your own potential, knowing you had something really special inside of you, even if the environment wasn't really pulling for it. What did those first years of being on your own look like? How did you survive literally in a world that, and especially living in a state, in a community that wasn't really caught up to be able to hold the full magic of who you are?
Yeah, you know, it was really difficult. I'm not going to lie. I had to learn a lot of hard lessons. I had to do a lot of things that I'm not proud of, and did a lot of things that I'm not proud of. The first 6 months, I couch surfed and while still going to high school. And I could tell every house that I was at, like, I overstayed my welcome.
Sure.
You know, like I felt it, you know, no matter how many times I was told, "Oh no, stay as long as you like." There's just you can just feel it, you know? And sorry, I'm getting like super shaky. I haven't talked about this in like ever really gotten in depth. So I apologize.
Thank you. Just thank you for being willing to share your heart.
It was really tough. I luckily found a program called Bridges in Oklahoma that helps youth get back on their feet. So I got basically put in an apartment complex that is a form of Section 8. My rent was 30% of my monthly income, and my electric was prorated. So, you know, everybody's electric was different. And I had to attend a life skills class every Tuesday, which probably was the most helpful thing I have ever attended.
I think
and
we
I think
all
everybody
should
have
be
this.
forced to do life skills. Like,
it was like classes like how to clean a chicken, how to separate your laundry, how to do your taxes, how to type up a resume, like literal life shit that I had never been taught, how to find coupons, like just literal life
actual
stuff.
life
That
applicable,
is-
not trigonometry.
Yeah, when am I gonna find X, Diva? She's been missing forever. I don't need her, okay? I need to know what eggs I'm supposed to buy, okay? Because I'm 18 and I have geometry homework later.
Yes.
Like, what are we doing? So I think that really helped. Once I got in that program, the funniest thing happened. So the first month I lived there, it's great, whatever, making it work. Decorated my little apartment, whatever. I get a text message from my counselor or caseworker, whatever you want to call her. And she goes, hey, I'm going to be at the office. You want to drop your rent off today? You going to do it tomorrow? And I said, oh, well, I haven't got a bill. You don't get a bill for rent, Eli. You just
know to pay it.
You just pay it.
Yeah.
You just pay it.
Yeah.
And that's how dumb I was. Like, I didn't know that you didn't get a bill for rent. I thought like that's what happens. And I was like, well, they didn't give me a bill, so I guess I'm not paying it. That's not how it works. That's not how it works.
Like, actually, if you would like to live
Yeah.
here.
And during that time I met some really great people and also met some really shitty people. And I think that was the universe's way of kind of sharpening me for both ends. I got beat down emotionally, and I was able to kind of find my own coven, tribe, family, whatever you want to call it. I started working with some drag queens, and my drag mother, her name's Jack Hay. Hi, Josh. He was probably, God, how old was he at the time? He had to have been maybe in his 30s. But he took me in, and like he would do weird little like shit, like ask me if I've done my homework, text me, hey, did you eat lunch today? Do you have gas in your car? He would make sure I was fed anytime, and in return, I would carry his bags to the club. I would help him get ready, that sort of thing. I would be a backup dancer. So that led me to meeting my best friend, Chase, who I met at a nightclub when he was a part of this circus troupe called Bang Bang Variety Show, which is the circus that I ended up joining.
Yes, this is one of my favorite parts of your evolution, we'll call it.
So I met Chase that first night when I was with my drag friends. And normally what would happen is I was just like their helper, their assistant. And that night, one of the queens called out. So it was my turn to like get up on the stage and do something.
Well, okay, what was that? Take me to the moment where they're like, okay, tag, you're in.
So she had given me a heads up beforehand, right? So I like already knew. It was not like we got there and she was like, oh, get on stage, buddy. So I had like a costume. I had a look on. Granted, not the best. It was a little like leotard, okay? That was a women's leotard and not a woman. So things had to be rearranged, origamied. And then I had an eye patch on, but it was one sunglass that I had like broken, that I had rhinestoned and glued tulle on each side as like an eye patch.
To fasten it.
Yes, because, fashion. And then combat boots. So ass out, one eye, and emo hair, and just went on stage.
We made it work.
Yeah, to like some, I think like, emo like 2013, 14 hit, whatever.
Yes.
So I'm hanging onto a pole the whole time that was on stage. And I'm freaking out because when we walked in, it's like bikers, dudes with beards, like punk rock dudes, and they're like colored hair. And like, I was like, are we gonna get like, what is this like a bashing?
Is this like a Sons of Anarchy convention?
Mama, this was one of those bars where it was like freaks, geeks, come as you are. We do not care.
Love it.
So it was like their like weirdo night, I guess, or whatever. And so it was a queer audience and punk rockers. So it was just a collection of just, the weirdest Chex Mix you've ever had, but you love it. And so like they were cheering, screaming, hollering. They loved it. And I was like, oh my God.
Am I amazing at this?
maybe I should like start this. Maybe I should do this. And so then one of the women who was in Bang Bang came up to me. Her name's Hope. She became my pole dance instructor. So she basically just said, hey, I can tell you have dance experience. I'm looking for a guy to do some pole dancing with me.
Yeah.
I'll teach you for free if you'll join, us and come work for me. And I was like, okay. I was 18 in high school. You're going to give me a pole dancing job? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So the first day at pole dance class, I met Chase. He was a makeup artist for MAC, and we just became instant besties.
Yeah.
And he took me under his wing, and I would hang out with him in Norman and then go hang out with the drag queens in Oklahoma City. And they just became my family, And like, I still have a house key to Chase's house right now, you know, and it's in Oklahoma.
Let's go pop over.
Yeah.
Let's just pop over.
Yeah. Get in the car. Let's go.
Bring the cameras.
Yeah. Come on. Bring the cameras.
Okay. So this was the beginning of you really learning the art of makeup. Did you have a passion for makeup before? Who was like your first mentor or muse when it comes to really learning? Because your skill level is, today, incredible. It sounds like it was a little rough back then.
Yeah.
But how did that evolution?
I used to put on lip gloss or clear chapstick on my eyelids to use as eyeshadow primer. Because I knew that you needed something there, but I didn't know what.
Right.
So I was like, well, this is sticky and it should last.
It'll do the job.
Yeah. No, it turns into like glittery mud in like an hour. It's crazy. So don't recommend. Also too, like milia is crazy. Milia is those little bumps that you get under your eye.
Oh.
So like that's due to too much moisture. I know, dropping facts on you. You're welcome.
So much education.
Yeah, she's an educational diva too. Ooh. But I would say probably not necessarily like a mentor, because I had a couple of makeup mentors. You know, my first boss at MAC was a makeup mentor. Chase was a makeup mentor. My tattoo artist was a makeup mentor, because before he was a tattoo artist, he was a manager of a MAC counter. And then all the drag queens I worked with. I think that was the first makeup I ever saw besides like my mom doing her makeup, which was like a 10-minute process, Xena Warrior Princess, your foundation on, and then like eyeliner or whatever, you know what I mean? Where like I actually saw these like men with full like beards and shave, glue their eyebrows down, completely transforming in front of you with just some powder and liquid. Like it was mind blowing to me. And the fact that everyone had similar steps, but they all ended up looking completely different and did little tweaks differently that made things work differently, you know, like seeing queens use some of the craziest stuff. Like one queen I saw, she doesn't use regular like face powder. She uses baby powder, because it's cheaper and she can get it efficiently and she doesn't have to worry about it. Some of the queens will use Weave Bond for glue for their eyelashes because it's a big ass bottle and you can get it for cheap. But I mean, I don't recommend that. Please don't be using Weave Bond on your eyelid because I've done it.
That sounds ouch.
It's ouch. It's ouch. And it smells and it like tingles and it burns. It's not fun.
Oh my
it's not
goodness.
Fun. But I would say like, being in the circus and being around drag queens was probably like the biggest thing that helped me kind of open my eyes to something that was possible, you know? Because originally I really wasn't doing much. I was just go-go dancing and teaching pole dance and stuff. I wasn't really doing anything. I had the idea to go to hair school, but like I didn't want to do hair. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It is so. First of all, it's always so fun when you share stories from those days and just some of the antics you got into. I mean, we've shared a story or two. And it always makes me think about I feel like I'm in this season where I think a lot about the journey my soul came here to experience. And I think a lot of times even some of the more challenging things we go through really make us who we are. And, when I think back to the environment you create, the beauty you bring out of people, the beauty you help them see in themselves. I can hear so much of that in your journey as well. And there was this time where I remember I was in your chair, forget what we were doing makeup for, and something occurred to me to ask you, okay, how does one choose the performance name for drag? And I said, I heard this silly thing once that one of the ways you could choose a name is your childhood pet and then the street you grew up on. And I was like, oh, isn't that funny? And you're like, no, people really use that formula.
Really,
and then I shared with you mine.
Yes.
So this is, I don't think I'll ever perform on stage under this name, but
I don't know. We could.
I want to know if anyone out there has a worse performer name than mine. So my childhood pet was a dog that came with a name. We didn't name him this, named Tubbs. And I grew up on Gross Avenue. So my performer name is Tubbs Gross. Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, bringing to the stage, Tubbs Gross. Get your dollars out for Tubbs Gross.
It conjures up images of, I think we thought like maybe like a little janitor outfit with like a little mop and bucket.
Yes.
It could be a whole thing.
I'm seeing maybe some food involved, you know. I don't know.
There's probably a category on OnlyFans for that, but I think I'm going to stick to my day job.
I feel like you could stay in this lane because this is going great. I feel like Tubbs is like all else fails. You know what I mean? Like
last resort.
Okay. Then we contact Tubbs.
We'll keep that on the list.
We'll leave Tubbs, like she can hang out in her like lanai or wherever she's at, you know.
But now just everyone I'm sure is thinking like, oh man, what would mine be? So childhood pet name and the street you grew up on. I challenge anybody to have, and that's not made up. That's real. That's for real.
It's funny too, because I know some drag queens too who, like myself included, who have had like several names, you know?
Yes.
So it's funny because then you're like, well, wait, what's your name tonight? Who are you?
Okay, so we can change.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, you're super allowed to change your name.
There's creative freedom.
And especially right now, because like, not to like shade Tubbs, but like no one knows her. So like, you know,
I mean, there's definitely a name change in my future, and I'm still feeling into what that might be. Yeah. We'll keep Tubbs in the running.
Yeah.
So as we kind of like start to wrap this up, I want you to think back to little Eli and imagine you are a parent of a child who is clearly someone who is meant to be this artistic soul, this creative soul. What advice do you have for parents who are raising kids who are clearly showing signs of not wanting to go the conventional path, maybe not seeing themselves going to college, wanting to pursue more creative things? What are the best things that parents can do to truly support a child who has dreams like that?
You know, it's funny that you say that. So I think the biggest thing you can do is to be mindful of your words, because I still remember the very little things, and they may not mean something to you, but they mean something to your child. For instance, I'm just going to use myself as an example. My mom got this sign when I was younger from a Fair of the Heart, which is like a trade like fair where there's like all these crafts and like it's cute. And she got this North Pole sign that says "Merry Christmas from the Smiths." My brother's last name is Smith. Her last name is Smith. And my stepfather's name was Smith. My last name is Medina. So automatically I felt othered immediately. Granted, she was buying a fucking sign, you know? She's just buying a cute decoration. But to me, it immediately separated me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was probably 13 or 14 at the time. So like, yeah, I know it's just a sign, but like my hormones were raging. And I still think about it. You know, it's still a mind thing. I still remember my mom pointing at like other people like who maybe not have the most idyllic job, so to speak. Maybe it's the ticket counter person at the movie theater, or maybe it's someone working the crosswalk at like a fair or something. And she would point at people and be like, you see that person over there? No college degree. You see that person over there? No education. You see that person over there? No education. Well, guess who didn't go to college, Diva? This guy. Still doing it, still making it. You know what I mean? So I think also to mind your words and nurture what you're noticing. You know what I mean? So like every now and then my mom would see little hints of creativity, you know, and she would get me like things. So like, for instance, I still remember for Christmas getting that big purple and yellow Crayola set where it was this giant tool set and it had crayons on one side, paints on another. You could open it and you could put your paper in it and all this stuff, you know? So like really, she really saw the creative side of me and she nurtured that, you know what I mean? So I definitely think, you know, it took her years to get me a freaking dress form, and she still made a comment. You know, this was when I was 30 years old. She finally got me a dress form for my birthday because I sew. And she was like, this has to be the weirdest gift I've ever gotten you. And I was like, Mom, no, it's not.
Is it really?
No, it's not. It's a literal dress form. How is this weird? Okay.
Yeah.
If I asked for like, I don't know, poppers and cocaine, then we would probably have a conversation. Okay.
Valid.
But it's a dress form. Okay.
I love that. It's just such a reminder that all of us have such power over the way that we can either speak life into someone or the opposite. And specifically for anyone who is raising human beings, I have so much respect and
Absolutely.
so much admiration for one of the most important roles in the world. And, you know, also so much respect and admiration for those who've had to kind of raise themselves in certain seasons.
Let me tell you something. Women are some of the most resilient, powerful things on this motherfucking planet. Okay. Y'all create life. Y'all are making bones and hair and teeth. Okay. I will never experience that. And the fact that you're doing that, you're going to a job, you're raising a family, you're doing all the other things, and also trying to take care of yourself. Like, that's a huge feat. You know what I mean? So to everyone who has like children who are maybe a little different, like, you're doing the best that you can, you know what I mean? So don't fret about like the whole like, oh God, am I fucking them up or am I screwing them up or whatever? Like, you're doing the best that you can, you know, and all you can do is all you can do, right? You know, so like, don't stress yourself out, but like, again, just like you said, you know, cherish those little moments, you know, put positivity into things, you know? Yeah. Okay. So like, let's use this as an example. So the zoo is overbooked or whatever. You're trying to take your kid out. Okay. Well, maybe we go on our own little zoo thing. Let's drive around the neighborhood and see if we can find a dog or something, you know, don't like
stray cat or two.
Yeah, exactly. Don't make it like a thing where it's like, well, I guess we got to go home now, you know, and you made it bad. Right. You know, because kids remember things like that, you know, like if it's their birthday, wrap the gift. Don't just put like a sticky note on it and that says happy birthday. That happened to me once. It was not nice. Okay. You know, yes, it was a book that I wanted, but like, it would have been nice to like open it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like little things like that, you know, to enrich, I think is always great.
It's literally adding the extra sparkle.
Yes.
Which you are a freelance makeup artist and a creator and a performer, so many things. And you also work at one of my favorite local businesses, the Sparkle Bar. So we have to give a shout out to Alex, the owner.
Hi, Alex.
We love the Sparkle Bar. And you really have added so much magic to moments of my life that are already so magical and so fun. It's an experience that I hope everyone gets to have, to one day sit in your chair and get to see themselves through the lens of someone who just brings joy and magic and light everywhere that they go. And I just love you so much.
Oh my gosh, that is so sweet. I just love you. I'm so lucky to get to be in a place like the Sparkle Bar that has cultivated a place where anyone can come and just leave feeling like their most beautiful self. When I moved here, I told my partner, like, this is really all I want to do is like just do makeup. I don't want to work at a counter. I don't want to have to like struggle or anything or work for a brand. I really just want to like make people feel good through the art of makeup. Yeah. And I'm a firm believer in like the universe will sometimes give you what you need, not what you want, but you have to speak it, right? And so I spoke it into existence. I got denied at 2 other jobs, and the Sparkle Bar was my Hail Mary. And I walked in there and it immediately felt like welcomed. I didn't think I was going to get the job because I came in my like 3-piece Armani suit and everybody was like super cash. And I was like, oh God, they're going to think I'm some stuck up snob. Oh no. But I just told myself like, have fun, enjoy yourself, because that's what makeup is. It is fun at the end of the day. It's nothing to stress out about. It's just expensive face paint. Because I think too, the biggest thing that I hear a lot of times is makeup PTSD is a real thing. So people have been done dirtied by someone at a Clinique counter or their cousin at a wedding or something. Yeah. So I understand that makeup PTSD is a real thing. And some people are a little apprehensive when they sit in my chair. Also too, makeup is a process. You're going to look real crazy before you look real delicious.
You got to trust it.
Okay.
Trust me.
So I think my biggest thing is I like to incorporate my clients into into the makeup process, so I ask a lot of questions because I'm not just going to put something on you because someone else is doing it online. I'm not going to contour your nose because nose contour is the biggest thing. That's your nose. And you've worked hard to have this face, right? Yeah. So whatever your face looks like, that's your face. I'm just going to enhance your natural features. I'm not going to add new ones unless you want me to put you in drag. Then that's a different story, you know? But my biggest thing is I want anyone who sits in my chair and leaves my chair to feel like their most gorgeous self and that they just have like an extra accessory on. Like me growing up in Oklahoma, even wearing this little amount of makeup on that I have right now was like crazy. I was like busting ceilings or something, you know? So imagine when I'm in like full makeup in Oklahoma, you know, even like, and I know I walk with a little swish, you know, but like, it's just, to me, it's very powerful. And I've always called makeup war paint because it is, you're getting ready for battle. This world is crazy. So you might as well look good while you're going out there. Okay. Just saying.
Okay, final question. And, you know, I've had you reflect a little bit when we started about just what you're really proud of yourself for. We just call those moments a powerhouse moment. And I think sometimes it's like the small, insignificant things that I know for me, I tend to overlook in my day to day. So when I ask you, what's a recent powerhouse moment that you've had that you just want to take a moment right now and celebrate yourself for, what comes to mind?
You know what? This is probably a little like, let me talk about me for a second, but
no,
let me talk about
point.
me. Like I said, I sew, and for a really long time I stopped sewing. And I think it's just because I got so focused on makeup, which is my bread and butter. It's always going to be my bread and butter unless I start developing like arthritis or something, you know, then I'll probably teach it or something. But like makeup has always like paid my bills and all that. And I used to sew for a designer. I used to work for Jonathan Kane back in Oklahoma. So like I was a sewer and a seamstress, and I really loved creating things, especially just for myself.
Yeah.
And this year, on Halloween and New Year's Eve, I've been like making my costumes from scratch again, like going to the fabric store and buying and like just being creative again. And like my whole goal this year is to just be more creative and get back in touch with those things. So I'm painting again, I'm making headpieces, I'm doing stuff like drawing, I'm sewing again. You know, I'm trying to get back to that really creative boy that I used to be. And not be so caught up in the adulting man that I've become, you know? So if we could like, I don't know, find like the teenager in there without the hormones, you know, just the fun, like 20-year-old a little bit, that'd be fun.
I love that. That's actually, I don't remember if we've talked about that, but that is one of my commitments for this year is more creativity.
Let's hold each other to that. We're both going to try and be more creative this year. I love that.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is amazing. Felt so honored. I know I'm not officially a powerhouse woman, but I feel like I am. I always cheer, and like it's just I just love you.
You're one of the girls.
Y'all, this woman gave me money during COVID, like, and I didn't even do her makeup. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm so thankful for you. I call you my sunflower on purpose because you would literally bring like sunshine and positivity into every room you come in, and you just leave people feeling so much better, and just by your aura and your presence, you know, it's so great. So the fact that I get to like make you feel good is like, what? Oh my God, you like me? Like, I feel like Josie Grossi from Never Been Kissed. Like, I'm not Josie Grossi anymore.
No, you're not. No, you're Cinderella now.
Can we just like touch? Yes, there we go. Yes, can we hold space?